Hey there, here we are at the end of week 23. Yes, can you believe that, Gracie? Week 23. So I just have to tell you something funny because, well, you have to know these things. Um, each Sunday when I go and I grab my tripod to make to make this video, Gracie gets all excited. Like the minute I put my hand on the tripod, she is dancing around and she is running toward the door and running back to me and running toward the door and running back to me. I think that this is one of the highlights of her week is actually being in the video. So, you know, I keep giving her props for that because, what the hell? She is a ham disguised as a dog. That's how it goes. So, welcome to week 23 at Freedom Acres. So, what happened this week, Kim? Well, I've been in this slow medicine mode. And the funny thing is that lots of stuff is always happening. I mean, it's hard to live on 10 acres of land. It's hard to live on 10 acres of land, with a dog and a cat, um, by yourself and not have tons of things happening. So, this week, uh, I have been watering, watering, watering. I think I have finally gotten the tomatoes and the peppers and the various fruits over in the big garden. I think that I've finally gotten them revived a little bit. They're starting to look a little normal from that day last week where they did not get watering, and it seemed to have caused that one day seemed to have caused quite a bit of trauma for everybody. So I've been apologizing, and I have been treating them as good as I could this week. Some days I even watered them both morning and evening, because it has been getting really pretty hot here. Now I know it is hot in other parts of the country, in bizarre parts of the country, by the way. When I started having people in New York and I started having people in Colorado telling me that it's above 90 degrees, I know that life has altered in some way, shape, or form. But nevertheless, above 90 is hot, and it has been getting that way here. So I've been spending a lot of time taking care of planties, pruning plants, and I did get a harvest of tomatoes, and I still have a few more on the vine that are about ready to go. I think the tomatoes are really in popping mode. Like they're in clusters of green tomatoes. If you see one of the other videos out here where I actually take some photos of them, um, they're big clusters of green tomatoes, and then literally within a day's time, they are on their way to red. So that's been happening. I have to figure out, because I don't know, I have to talk to Lauren and I have to figure out when is the appropriate time to harvest eggplant. So if any of you know that, by all means, join in. Whenever I'm posing these questions, it continues to be because I don't have a clue. I don't have a clue what I'm doing most of the time. I'm just like, moving my way through things by feel. I spend a lot of time out here on YouTube watching other brilliant people who have done the things I don't know. I kind of use it like YouTube University and learn as much as I can from others. But feel free to chime in with any of the things that you know that I don't know, because wow, I appreciate that. And who knows, maybe occasionally there's something I know that you don't know. And we'll call it an exchange. That would be great. So that's what's been going on. Also, of course, I just couldn't help myself. I did get a couple more flowers for the wildflower garden, and got those in. So it continues to be populated. I had an interesting thing that happened in the wildflower garden, and I think this has to do with gopher turtles. That's right. So one of the plants you know, I'm looking out there and it had yellow blooms on it. It looked all pretty. Um, and then I look out there and I went, wow, that's really interesting. It must have dropped all of its flowers. And I move over in that direction, and what I find is that it looks like it has been perfectly mowed, that one plant. Now the other plants all around it, happy plants, nothing going on. But that one looked like it had been mowed. And then all I could see in my head was a gopher turtle going like they do when they cruise along on the ground. And if you've seen any of the videos out here, I have gopher turtles. I love taking photos of them eating because that's kind of what it looks like. They're just like as they move. So I think that that became gopher turtle food. But everybody else out there in the wildflower garden is doing good. The flowers are coming up, and all the little wildflowers that I threw seeds out, those are continuing to come up. Occasionally I throw some more seeds just because, well, I can't quite help myself. But that's how that's going this week. The cardinal couple and several other birds continue to come back to the fountain, and of course I love that. And the cardinals are so beautiful. Oh gosh. Anyhow, that's what's happening. That's what's happening with that garden. Over here in the kitchen garden, um, I need to do some real harvesting of basil and things like that. So this week is my week about figuring out what to do with basil and herbs. Now, I do not have an oven because, well, it's a tiny house and I don't really cook that much. So I do have a convection oven though, and that convection oven happens to have a dehydrating mode on it. So this coming week, I am going to figure out how to use that, and we're going to do some harvesting over here in the kitchen garden, and get some herbs dehydrated. And in the harvest that I did get, besides getting tomatoes, I got tons of peppers. So I've got to figure out what to do with the peppers also. But the kitchen garden is looking fabulous. It's all plumped up again. The tomatoes are healthy over here also, and the eggplant. So everything's looking pretty good over here. The other things that happened this week was that I got some more attachments for my trimmer mower, and I started unboxing that. So there may or may not be a video out here of the trimmer mower. It just depends on what I get to for the rest of the day today. But the intention was to try to get it at least unboxed this week as I could, so that next weekend, I do not have any plans next weekend, and next weekend I can take it on its virgin run to see what it does, see how I can handle it like that. Yeah. So that should be coming up, and this weekend, one of the things that happened was I was out there on Saturday. I also got I got a few more plants in the ground in the big garden, a few more plants in pots over here. Around, I guess, 2:30 in the afternoon on Saturday. Normally I have clients all day Saturday until about 6 o'clock. But for some reason this particular Saturday, I had several cancellations, and so I was, you know, doing whatever work I could do here. And around 2 o'clock, I realized that it was just too hot. Like we had just reached a point that it was way too hot. And so I came inside, and Gracie and I crashed out on the couch. And it was kind of a special moment. And here's why it was a special moment. Not because I crashed out on the couch, but because I realized, you know, just like everything, this is the first year here. So we're moving into my first summer living here. every summer prior to this, the other 3 years, what it looked like was that I was only able to get here on Sundays mostly. Every now and then I had to come up on a Saturday or some other day to meet a contractor. But other than that, I got here on a Sunday and I was so pressured for time to get things done that I would work all day Sunday. And when it got summertime, what would occur is, as it got hotter and hotter, I would be able to work for about 15 minutes and then I would pour water all over myself and sit in front of the air conditioning in the Jeep, which is where Gracie stayed almost all day every Sunday, in the air conditioner of the Jeep. And I would revive myself and I would drink all kinds of electrolytes. And then I would go back out there and put in another 15, 20 minutes and rinse and repeat that all day long. So this Saturday, when I came in and just kind of laid, I laid on the couch, which is under my mini split air conditioner. And I realized that this is the first time this year now is the first time that I have the opportunity to actually do that, to work early in the morning, work later in the evening, particularly since it's summer and the evening hours are the light is out a little longer. And I don't have to push through that middle of the day stuff. So that was a pretty cool realization in the world of what's the difference now living here on the property versus coming to see it, visit it, so to speak. So that was a revelation for Saturday. And then Sunday this week, I just took time off from the property. There we have it. I drove to Tampa. I met an old friend of mine there. Now, when I say old friend, this particular friend, Victoria, I have known her since high school. Like, I was literally 15, I think, when she and I met. And so our friendship has endured all of these years because, as you can tell, I am very far away from 15 here at 68 years old. So that friendship has lasted an enormous amount of time, and it has gone through 1,000,001 renditions as I have lived in different places and returned to Florida, and Victoria has continued to live her life, and we've had partners in all kinds of things along the way. And we had lunch together, and that was so delightful. It was kind of funny. I was a little nervous going into it, and those of you that are a little older, you may understand this. You change. The other person has changed. You're not quite sure what that's going to be like. And it was fabulous because it started with a great big hug, and then we had an extraordinary lunch together, and it ended with a great big hug, and with us realizing that I'm an hour and 45 minutes away from where she lives in the St. Pete area, so we can do this again sometime. Now that I'm finally on the property and I'm not living on in various people's homes and things like that, and life is settling in, there are things that I'm now beginning to be able to do, and that was a pretty delicious one. And then after I left her, I was not that far away from my friend Anita, who lives in St. Pete also. And so I jetted over the bridge and spent an hour with Anita, which is fabulous because since I moved out of her house, gosh, I don't know, April, it's been more than a year since I moved out of her house, because I left her house and stayed at one of Nair's houses in Tampa for that last stretch of time until I moved onto the property. But we have not seen each other that much. I think we may have seen each other once when she came up here looking for some real estate. But it was really great to see her and her house and her doggies and her kitty cats and all of that. So that was my day yesterday. It was a very kickback, relaxed, off the property today. I mean, today. And so that was that. And so I am here doing this video with you without a lot of extra working reports from this today and this week. So will it kick up this coming week? Perhaps. I'm still trying to decide when I'm going to have the guy come and begin clearing out my woods for me. Maybe I'll decide that this is the week. Maybe it will be the following week, but I think I've gotten enough things out of my way now and things handled now that I can start thinking about that and deciding if now is the time I want to drop the money into that. The other thing that I have going is Nair and her guys are going to show up here on the property at some point in time and put down 2 concrete slabs for me. One concrete slab will be for a little carport that I can put the new GP under. And the other slab is going to be for a shed. I can build a 10 by 20 shed without having to permit it. Now I will still have to permit to put the electricity and the plumbing in it, but I won't have to permit for the shed itself. So I'm going to get them to put down a slab for that so that I can start thinking about getting those 2 things. That'll make life much easier here. For those of you that have been around, you've probably heard me say I'm going to get the washer dryer out of the tiny home and into the shed. And I am also going to be able then to move my storage unit that's still in St. Pete, move that stuff into the shed so that I can go through it, sort it out, and clear that out. And once that's clear, then who knows, maybe it makes for a little studio area for me or something. But those 2 things, getting that down and then getting the carport and the shed, that's going to cost some money. And so I'm kind of weighing out when I do things, when I clear the woods versus when I handle the shed and the carport. Long story short is that I continue to work so that I can pay for things to happen now on the property. So I'm a beauty on a budget at this point, and I'm needing to, balance things out and make sure that things work for me. But that's the big plans coming up soon. And this coming week, heck, who knows? But I will definitely be here on the property this coming week because I have no plans to travel off it other than run a few errands probably next weekend. So, Gracie, you ready? Hey, are you going to sleep through it? Oh, maybe she's going to sleep through it. Hi. Are you ready? Okay, so it's time for us to wish you freedom. Thank you. Wish you freedom for yourself and your life. And Gracie and I also wish you love, right? Tons and tons and tons. She's like pooped out or something here. She was all excited about the camera coming out, but now she's kind of, she's going to leave me. It's okay. Tons and tons and tons of love that we send you from Freedom Acres. And also, of course, peacefulness. Let's just keep creating peacefulness. I think it's really important for all of us. So we will see you soon. Bye.